Welcome, everybody. My name is Michael, and today we're discussing about Coinbase. They're in the news on the New York Times. Crypto startup ignored their pleas. Oh, yes, I can certainly agree with that. So let's talk about Coinbase. Pretty cool GIF they got here. All right, well, we don't have an intro, so let this be in the intro. Coinbase, where do we start? Well, first of all, hi. I am a banned Coinbase user. I've been using them, or at least I used to use them, years ago. And it is very unfair that they have never informed me up until this point in time. I still have not received any official email besides the same copy paste text that they send out to everybody that they ban. So I suspect that the reason I got banned, and many others, thousands and thousands of other accounts, some of them had a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I suspect that the reason that we got banned is very similar. It's usually the fact that we treated Coinbase kind of like a wall, which you should never do. But hey, this was years ago, so we were rather silly. You shouldn't do this with any company, because at that point, the Bitcoin is really not yours. You have to have an offline wallet. That's going to be the best place to keep your Bitcoin cold storage. But at the time, I accepted donations through my YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel, not this one. And I'm sure that some of the crypto donations were rather sketchy. They came from sketchy sources, and I have no idea what these people were doing with their Bitcoins, because some of these amounts were $1, sometimes it would be $50, nothing crazy. And I was selling a little bit of Bitcoin here and there, just normal transactions. But within a matter of a few months of receiving these donations and selling Bitcoin, that's all I was doing. That's all the controversial activity that I really was doing. I was purchasing Bitcoin, I was sending Bitcoin to other wallets. But besides that, the only two things that they could really maybe look into would be the donations and the fact that I was reselling Bitcoin, which is perfectly fine. A lot of people were reselling Bitcoin. I was reselling Bitcoin to my audience. So maybe that's another thing, that the same people who maybe were donating were also purchasing that Bitcoin from me. Maybe they didn't want to get Coinbase. Maybe it wasn't available in their country. So a lot of people from other areas of the world were purchasing Bitcoin. Maybe it was cheaper for them, because some of these local exchanges from around the world sometimes, they can definitely scam you. Essentially, it's going to be 10-15% cost, right? So I was selling, nothing too crazy, and then I get banned. And I asked Coinbase, hey, what's going on? And they never told me the exact reason. So that's all I can suspect. I tried communicating, I tried contacting them so many times to try and unban this account. Nothing. It's permanently banned. And at this point, I've given up. At this point, I realize maybe that's a good thing, because they have gone under so many times. Their maintenance is terrible. Even when I was using them, this is somebody who has purchased and sold more than a few Bitcoins in the past before. Obviously, now they're worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, but back then it was only a few $1,000s. But still, someone spending thousands of dollars through your service, and then you ban thousands and thousands of us. I was somebody who was, if I was treated well, I'd recommend the platform. I did recommend the platform in the past, and then I changed my mind. I told people to stay away from it. And that just goes to show that Amazon, Jeff Bezos, he really understands that the customer is always right in most cases. Sure, there's always a few psychotic cases. But in this case, when the customer service is just so terrible, and you compare it with other modern day companies, which are also worth billions of dollars, but they're a lot better, obviously, you realize that the one thing that stands apart the real players from the startups that are trying to gain as much value as quickly as possible, and then suddenly it all unravels. Obviously, Coinbase is going to stick around for quite some time because of its just massive size. But in the future, I definitely think that the one thing that will beat any company that's going to try and get to the number one spot and beat Coinbase, well, it's going to be customer service. Because if you can't treat your customers with dignity, with respect, if you can't respond to them in time, if your servers are constantly down, then this is, I'm just an average customer over here, but I could definitely recommend it to other people through my YouTube channel, through my friends, through family. And the only way I'd recommend Coinbase is if someone's a very, very beginner with Bitcoin. And then once they're, a little bit better with it, they're going to move on to other platforms because it's easier at the very beginning to use Coinbase. I'll give them that. But eventually, once you're a long-time customer, there's going to be problems with withdrawals. There's going to be problems with limits. There's going to be problems with KYC. Certain exchanges just demand so much KYC information. That's why I stopped using Bitstamp, another exchange which in the past it used to be okay. Now it's just terrible. A lot of people realize that KYC is way more expansive than other people. Like they want to find out your pay stubs. They want to know why you purchased Bitcoin. Where is it coming from? It's like that's you can have my address, you can have my passport, you can have all this stuff where already people don't really feel comfortable giving that information out. Bitcoin's now, it's not really supposed to be anonymous, but the roots of it were completely different to what it is right now. Obviously, I get it. Money laundering, anti-money laundering laws, know your customer laws. Okay, fine, you can have that. But when you want information up above that, I have no idea what you're doing with that data. That goes into a lot of people's privacies. Maybe they're reselling the data. Data is the new oil. So the fact that people are complaining about Coinbase, it doesn't surprise me. They haven't changed one bit all these years. Maintenance still sucks. They're worth billions of dollars and they can't afford better developers or engineers or people who are just able to respond on time. One of my most recent cases was the fact that I had Bitcoin stuck in one of my accounts. It wasn't a lot, it was $100, and it took over a year and a half. I've already documented it on this channel and my other channel, Kubera. That $100 grew to $500 and eventually $600. And thankfully, I was able to recover my phone in time because if I didn't, I would lose that money forever. There was no way Coinbase could help me. And every single time I reached out to them, it took them weeks to respond. Over 1 month, over 2 months, I reached out to them through Twitter. And I think that the fact that I made YouTube videos and reached out to them on Twitter publicly sped things up a little bit, which isn't normal because people who don't have YouTube channels, who are just an average customer, sometimes they have tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars locked up. This is basically the PayPal of the cryptocurrency world. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, PayPal has locked so many legitimate users and businesses with tons of money freezing without giving full reasons. If they could give a detailed explanation, if they could respond, I don't know, maybe it's too much to ask for within 24 hours, but within a 72-hour time frame or even within a week, that'd be nice. But when you have constant delays for thousands, tens of thousands of users, I get it, you're growing fast, but this has been going on for the past few years, and this will continue for the next few years. And now you're trying to do an IPO, trying to go public, you're trying to raise billions of dollars. People will really look into how you've been treating the current customers. If you want to gain more customers, you're going to start losing a whole bunch of people. And the competition is definitely taking notice. They are going to beat Coinbase. And that's why Coinbase's whole value, well, it hasn't been really doing too well. I finally got my Bitcoin back from Coinbase, but it took forever. And I was this close to not getting it because they then later did an announcement that the service that I used to authenticate to get back into the Bitcoin account, it would stop working. And I think it's going to stop working within the next few days, where it already stopped working. So thankfully I got my money back. You know, it's only a few $100, but it still is, it's a lot to me. It may not be a lot to them, but there's people with hundreds of thousands of dollars who are certainly in bad positions with them. So CEO Brian Armstrong is a multi-billionaire. He's got around $14 billion. And, you know, they're definitely going to make a lot of money. But ahead of the IPO, there's a whole bunch of users who are saying their accounts are locked. They've lost money. It's hard to find any human to talk to. The same problems that I've been experiencing years ago. And this is why I just gave up. I didn't want to go back to this company. I said, you know what, even if they unban me, what if they freeze my money in the future? I don't want to deal with that. So Coinbase said to the New York Times that real humans replied to requests for help and that it has added 2,000 people to its support team in recent months. And most likely these are from cheaper countries because 2,000 is a lot. And I know how most of these companies do it. But Coinbase is certainly not alone. There's a fair amount of companies in the real world and even in cryptocurrency that have terrible customer service. But also having a reputation for not helping customers is certainly not a good thing. If customers feel like they can't trust a platform, they'll look for alternatives, and that's 100% right. There's been a huge Reddit thread. There's been tons and tons of YouTube videos and Twitter messages and people just crying on Facebook like they lost money. Maybe even if they get this money back, The problem is in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin moves so quickly and it's so volatile that by the time people get their money back, the opportunity cost, it took me a year and a half to show. Thankfully, Bitcoin rose, but I was this close to getting locked out. The opportunity cost, what if you needed to pay for bills? What if there was an emergency? What if you really needed that money? Or what if there was an investment opportunity that you did have the Bitcoin, but it was locked up and you lost out on 10x returns, right? The opportunity cost, you'll never get that back. So in January, they promised that there's going to be fast responses. They're going to care more and more about this, but it's still happening. If you go through Coinbase subreddit, let's just check it out. It's still mostly, there's 96.7 thousand members, 1,000 people are online right now. Most of it, there we go, first post, let me show you. $120,000 wire transfer sent, an account was immediately put into account restricted. There we go. These are the pinned stuff. No customer service. Things to consider using Coinbase. Quick thank you. There we go. Don't go into Coinbase. I want my money back. Need help with support ticket. I want to buy crypto, but a rep sent me to a third-party website instead. Verification still processing. My money is held hostage. No interest. So that's it. There's a video that I'm going to make about Nifty Gateway and Gemini pretty soon. Unfortunately, this happens with companies that are new, and Gemini's not new, but Nifty Gateway is relatively new, and it's been growing like crazy. So there's huge delays, and it's very unprofessional. So we're going to be making a video about that. But in that case, I get it. They're still kind of new. I'm still kind of giving them some leeway. There's still people with tens of thousands of dollars that are frozen, that have just disappeared. Their credit cards, they're doing chargebacks. But with Coinbase, it's a little bit different because they're trying to gain more money from investors while they're still not fixing their platform, their original platform. And they've been around for years, and they have billions of dollars, which Nifty Gateway, it's playing around with millions of dollars, a completely different level. If you're trying to be on the Apple or Amazon or Microsoft level of cryptocurrency in the future, fix your freaking platform. Listen to your customers. That's it. So thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, have a great one. On Kubera, we're making a video about Elon Musk tweeting that now Tesla accepts Bitcoin. So if you've got some extra Bitcoin to spare, get yourself a Tesla. And that's that. So if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe, leave a comment, write your opinion down below. Thank you for almost 700 subs, and we shall see you guys tomorrow. Oh yeah, and I'm back. My MacBook, I was able to unlock it. So thanks. Bye.